Oh, look who's back.
Alex Parker.
I'm Alex Parker. Let's take a trip down memory lane. The soundbite heard around the world the last time Robert Griffin III spoke one-on-one as a member of the Washington Redskins. Do you feel like you're competing? I mean, I don't know necessarily technically starting job, but yeah, do you feel like when you're coming out here, you've got to prove you're the best quarterback, or do you think, or is it easier for you just to assume that be the case? That doesn't weigh on you. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I don't know what you're saying, but I don't feel like I have to come out here and show anybody anything or why I'm better than this guy or better than that guy. It's more about going out and affirming that. For me, I go out and I play. I know I'm the best quarterback on this team. I feel like I'm the best quarterback in the league, and I have to go out and show that.
That was Robert Griffin III. After training camp in 2015, never played again for the Washington Redskins, never spoke again in an interview setting after that one. He's in Cleveland now. We'll see if he can resurrect his career there. A lot of folks have their doubts. I, for one, cannot wait for the 30 for 30 to come out.
So what you waiting for?
I think right now would be a great time to get back to the...
Alex Parker.
For a while, it was the rivalry in college hoops. It was Maryland and it was Duke, and it's no longer. Terps fans, I think, still miss it. So does Coach K. I imagine you're disappointed you won't be playing Maryland anymore. We're up here in the Maryland-Georgetown area, obviously.
Well, I'm disappointed that Maryland's not in our conference. I've not been hiding my feelings about that. I love that Maryland was in the ACC. We haven't had a lot of intense games, but they were great for college basketball, great for college sports, and it's a shame that's not going to be allowed to continue. It's hard for me to think of the ACC without Maryland. They've been such a huge part of our conference for 6 decades.
Coach K still has Carolina to play. That's good for them. For Maryland fans, what do you got? Michigan State? Indiana? It's okay. Here's what I know. It ain't Duke. Pretty awesome country we live in, is it not? Protests in the news the last couple of days. Donald J. Trump, the president. What does this have to do with sports? Here's what it has to do with sports. Over the next 4 years, or 8, some folks, maybe Steph Curry, maybe LeBron James, maybe Kirk Cousins wins a Super Bowl. Maybe Kirk Cousins, doesn't like Trump, I don't know. Clearly some folks don't like him and some folks do. If you don't like him and he invites you to the White House, go. Tim Thomas, the Bruins, he didn't go when Obama invited the Bruins. Some 72 Dolphins didn't go to see Obama. My sense is a lot of folks aren't going to go because they don't like him. Half the country doesn't like him. So half of you might not go. Here's the deal. If Donald Trump invites you, go, no matter what you think about him. It's not about him. It's about you. It's about your team. It's about your city. It's about America.
Oh, God. What a joke.
Oh, this guy?
Oh, not this guy.
Alex Parker.
I'm Alex Parker. Welcome to the show. A big day in Redskins history today. I said a big day. I didn't say a good day. I didn't say a great day. It was frankly an awful day. It was 33 years ago on this day in 1984. The Redskins lost to the Raiders in Super Bowl 18 in Tampa, 38-9. It was just awful. Oh, can you remember it, folks? If you're old enough to remember it, folks. Redskins, what a team that year. 14-2, lost 2 games, each game by 1 point. Each game on Monday Night Football. Week 1, you might remember it, against Dallas at RFK, defending champs, the whole deal Monday Night Football. They lose 31-30. Later in the season, at Green Bay, they lose 48-47, I think, on a Mosley missed field goal. I think that's the best Redskins team ever. I know a lot of folks think the 91 team was better. Rippon only gave up, 9 sacks or something insane. When you lose 2 games by 1 point and you go 14-2, you are the best team. The problem with my argument is they didn't win the big one. And in sports, we've seen this before. You got to finish. You can do a lot of stuff. It's great. It's all great. Golden State Warriors, it's all great. Everything's great. 73 wins. Got to win at the end. Got to win at the end. Redskins didn't do it then. If they had, they'd have maybe 4 Super Bowl rings. They got the 3. hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Parker Sports. If you think there's a better Redskins team than that one, 91 team, the 82 team, let me know. Would love to get your thoughts throughout the show today. Big day for football, obviously. Big day in sports. Maybe the best day on the calendar, period, in all of sports today. 2 championship games. We love Super Bowl Sunday. That's really not for sports fans. That's just sort of a show. And the food, and it's great. But today's football. Today's 2 back-to-back great games. And if this Final Four teaches us anything, and we didn't need to be taught this again because it's been hammered into our heads for the last 50 years, it's that, it's all about the quarterback. In politics, it's the economy, stupid. In real estate, it's location, location, location. In football, in Pee-wee football and junior high football and high school football and college football and absolutely in pro football, it's the quarterback. And how do we know this now, this year? Because here's who's playing today. Matt Ryan, great quarterback. Great quarterback. Maybe going to the Hall of Fame if he wins today, wins in 2 weeks, or even just has another 3 or 4 prolific seasons. He'll go. Here's who we know is going. The guy he's playing against. That would be Aaron Rodgers. This guy's insane. Maybe nobody's played as well as he's playing right this second. Maybe he's playing that position better than anybody's ever played it over the last 6 weeks. And it feels like 7 years ago that they lost to the Redskins. What have they done since then? What did the Redskins do since then? Not so much. On the other side, AFC game, Ben Roethlisberger. We don't talk about him like we talk about Brady and Rodgers and Breeze and these folks and Peyton Manning. This guy's flat out sick. He's great. He's fantastic. He doesn't look like he's doing a lot back there, but when he needs to move, he does. When he needs to make a play, he does. He's got 2 rings. He might have a 3rd. And then there's the Brady fellow. Maybe the best ever, period, as we sit right now. And if he wins a 5th, would that be ridiculous? If he wins a 5th, and right now he's the odds-on favorite, you got to believe they are, he's got to be the best ever. So it's the quarterbacks. And if the Redskins, if the folks in Ashburn are watching, and I'm sure they will, and they're listening, I hope they are thinking about, man, what do we need to do with this football team of ours? Here's the deal. We've been reminded again it's the quarterback, stupid. But they're not stupid out in Ashburn. They know. They know the deal. So what are they going to do about Kirk Cousins? They're in a quandary, and we know this by now. On the one hand, you got to have him. What would you do without him? Where would they be without him? What would they do next year without him? But then you think, all those other guys I've listed, they've all won playoff games. They've all won Super Bowls, except for Matt Ryan. They've all won games to get their teams to the playoffs. Kirk, not so much. He's never won a playoff game. He's had sort of playoff games-ish to get to the playoffs, and he's played arguably his worst games when the lights have been the brightest. So what are they going to do at Redskins Park? What are they going to do? Again, I'm at Parker Sports. What should they do? They have to keep him, whatever that means, whether it's franchise, whether it's long-term. He has to be the quarterback here next year, doesn't he? I don't know. Will he be? I don't know. I was watching the parade on Friday, the inauguration parade for one Donald J. Trump. And it made me think, man, it's been a long darn time since folks gathered in the streets of Washington to welcome a sports team home after a championship. And no offense to D.C. United, the Washington Castles. I'm talking about the Big Four. It's been since January of '92. We're getting a little long in the tooth, folks, waiting for that next one. I'm wondering when on earth this is going to happen and which team is going to be the team to do it. If it's ever going to be the Redskins again, they got to fix the quarterback situation. It's kind of fixed now. They have one. Whether he ends up being one of those guys, who knows? Redskins fans can only hope. But if we're going to get another parade, a parade that doesn't have Donald J. Trump in it or Barack Obama, we do those well. We can do those every 4 years. We're really good at that. What we're not good at is the sports ones, like they have in Boston and intermittently in other cities like Cleveland, even though they hadn't had one in a while. We got to get better at that. Makes you wonder which local team is going to be the first to end this drought. Again, we do it every 4 years. Let's do an extra one. Let's do a sports version. Might it be the Caps? They seem to be the most likely to do this, except for the fact that we've been there, kind of done that with them over these years, and they fall short of expectations. But maybe this is the year. But we've said that so many times. Wizards, horrific start. Pretty darn good run they're on now. I don't think anybody out there thinks they're going to the championship game anytime soon. I wouldn't count on the Wizards ending the championship drought in the next 3 or 4 years. Maybe we'll get lucky. The Nats, they're like the Caps. They're the summer version of the Caps. I'd say they get so close, but they don't get so close because they can't get out of the first round. But it feels like they're close. It feels like with Scherzer and Strasburg healthy and Harper et al. It feels like they're on the cusp. But maybe that's just a Washington thing. We always feel like we're on the cusp of something when really we're not really on the cusp of anything. Back to the Redskins. If they're going to be the ones to do this, 2 things. We talked about quarterback. Kirk Cousins isn't perfect. He at some point's got to win a big game. But where would the team be without him? They've got to have Cousins moving forward. Sign him, franchise him, whatever you got to do, Scott McLuhan. That should be sort of a given. The other side of the ball. And I know I talked a lot about quarterbacks and their value, and that's clear. But that truism in pro football and any football, 2 things you got to do. Run the ball and play defense. And the Redskins' defense this year was pretty darn awful. They've gotten rid of Joe Barry. We'll see if they can find somebody to take this job. Somebody's going to take that job, whoever it is. If the defense can be shored up, A, from a talent standpoint, B, from a scheme and coaching standpoint, then maybe the defense with Cousins. Imagine if they had some defense. I mean, they won a lot of football games this year just with Kirk kind of chucking it around to Jordan Reed and Pierre and Deshaun, etc. So maybe it will be the Redskins. Maybe we will have a parade in the next 4 years before either Donald J. Trump gets his second version or somebody else comes in to get his or her first. In the meantime, maybe the Washington Redskins, after all these years, with Kirk Cousins and a better defense, can give this city a parade, not of the political variety, but a championship parade. Because you know what? You fans deserve it.